What happens when the DM's best friend is that guy? Let me describe the situation. This happened several years ago, so details are a bit murky. The party was level 4, consisting of a Goliath barbarian, tiefling sorcerer, me, human druid, and a half-elf cleric, but the main actor, that guy, was the elf warlock. He was the DM's best friend and was allowed to get away with so many things. But it normally didn't matter since it was on his own hands and didn't affect the party, trying to seduce women with authority that should have had him arrested, threatening merchants, the usual that guy business. But things started getting worse when during a boss fight he ignored the party and tried to loot the room. From that point, my tiefling sorcerer was really at his throat since we almost TPK'd right then and there. We wrapped up the quest line and moved on to another city. Arriving, we realized there is a problem with some crime syndicate who has started using street urchins for all sorts of nasty crimes that have been escalating. Naturally, we tried looking for the urchins to get some info from them. Someone was bound to talk. A bunch of rolls happened, and that guy and the cleric get 2 different leads on possible urchins willing to talk. We start discussing the leads, but that guy immediately sets off to investigate his. Knowing his track record, Druid and I go after him, but since we didn't know where he was going, he tries to actively lose us, which he does. So he gets a solo bit again as we return to the party. Cutting a long story short, both leads pointed to the same set of NPCs, a group of beggar kids loitering around the town square. We meet up with the warlock again, but he doesn't want to hear our complaints as we spot the kids. As we approach, he casts Armor of Agathis on himself. The cleric asks him why he does that, and he shrugs it off, saying that the kids have been known to carry small blades and whatnot. Then when half the table points out that the damage from the armor will likely insta-kill the kid, he doesn't care. We get to the group and try to roleplay a bit. The barbarian was a big softie, and with my high charisma, we decide to take the lead on getting information from them. Things are going well. The group consisted of 4 kids, a brother, his younger sister, and 2 of his friends. Slow and steady progress is being made with persuasion checks and the barbarian giving a small wood carved animal to the sister. Warlock doesn't like that it's going slowly. Mind you, this is happening in a semi-crowded town square. He announces that his PC grabs the little sister's arm and threatens the boys to tell him everything, demanding to roll intimidation. We are all stunned by the stupidity of this as the girl screams and all eyes turn to him. The big brother goes at him, trying to punch at him, and he hits. The DM proceeds to describe as the cold energy from the warlock spell extinguishes the life in the boy. The warlock, seeing what he has done and the panic that is spreading through the square, decides to blame it on my PC. He says he shouts, "The foul devil has slain the child! Call the gods! Call the clerics!" and other such garbage. The cleric tries to heal the boy, but to no effect, and the guards quickly appeared. He demanded to roll persuasion, but the barbarian simply says he wants to grapple him around his neck to choke him out. Not kill, just simply choke. Now out of game, the player gets angry, claiming that this is unfair PvP, and we said we weren't going to do that. We all countered by pointing out what had just happened. His response? "It's what my character would do." The Goliath player is having none of it, and neither am I. I say my bard will talk to the guards and explain everything truthfully about what happened. Here, we see the DM's behavior change a bit, since it became obvious that the warlock wasn't getting away with this. he tells me to roll with disadvantage. Why? Because I am a tiefling and he is an elf. My character's tiefling nature had never been a factor until now. The cleric and druid say they will support my claim. Nope, still disadvantage. I roll, and by some miracle I get 2 high rolls. The warlock failed his checks against the barbarian and couldn't speak at all. The DM rolls behind the screen. The guards didn't believe our story and are arresting everyone. At this point, the entire table blows up. Covering up for flirting and intimidation was one thing, but this was massive. We point blank said that RPCs would want nothing to do with him because of this. That guy sees no problem, saying why would anyone care about some beggar bum? The DM is trying to salvage the situation, saying that we can just be taken in, give statements, and move on, including the warlock. We are having none of it, and it becomes obvious that we are in a deadlock. In the end, me and 2 other players decided to leave since we realized he was going to keep doing this, and we didn't want to have a chaotic neutral party member. Not as bad as many other horror stories here, but still destroyed an overall enjoyable group. An unfortunate end, but it was for the best. DMs that play favorites are just going to make your character feel like a side character, which no one usually wants. It's unfortunate that some people can't put aside their biases to allow everyone to enjoy something together. What do you all think about this situation?